Welcome to the book summary of The One Thing, The Surprising Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results by Gary Keller. The book was published in 2013 and weighed 240 pages. In The One Thing, you'll learn to cut through the clutter, achieve better results in less time, build momentum towards your goal, dial down the stress, overcome that overwhelmed feeling, revive your energy, stay on track, master what matters to you. The One Thing delivers extraordinary results in every area of your life. Work, personal, family, and spiritual. What's your one thing? The book is available on Amazon with the link in the description if you like what you hear. So without further ado, I bring you the book summary of The One Thing. Number one, The One Thing. Going small is ignoring all the things you could do and doing what you should do. It's recognizing that not all things matter equally and finding the things that matter most. Going small is a tighter way to connect what you do with what you want. It's realizing that extraordinary results are directly determined by how narrow you can make your focus. And number two, the domino effect. Toppling dominoes is pretty straightforward. You line them up and tip over the first one. In the real world, though, it's a bit more complicated. The challenge is that life doesn't line everything up for us and say, here's where you should start. Highly successful people know this. So every day, they line up their priorities anew, find the lead domino, and whack away at it until it falls. And number three, success leaves clues. The One Thing shows up time and again in the lives of the successful because it's a fundamental truth. It showed up for me, and if you let it, it will show up for you. Applying the One Thing to your work and in your life is the simplest and smartest thing you can do to propel yourself towards the success you want. The lies, they mislead us and derail us. The 6 lies are beliefs that got into our heads and became operational principles, driving us the wrong way. Highways that end as bunny trails. Fool's gold that diverts us from the motherlode. If we're going to maximize our potential, we're going to have to make sure we put these lies to bed. And number 4, everything matters equally. Pareto points us in a very clear direction. The majority of what you want will come from the minority of what you do. Extraordinary results are disproportionately created by fewer actions than most realize. Looking at the graph, you can see effort 20% is 80% of the results. Keep going. You can actually take 20% of the 20% of the 20% and continue until you get to the single most important thing. No matter what the task, mission or goal, big or small, start with as large a list as you want. But develop the mindset that you will whittle your way from there to the critical few and not stop until you end with the essential one. The imperative one, the one thing. Number 5, multitasking. It's not that we have too little time to do all the things we need to do, it's that we feel the need to do too many things in the time we have. So we double and triple up in the hope of getting everything done. Okay, looking at the interrupted workflow, as you can see on the top, we start, then we have their primary work, and then we switch, and then we reorientate, and then we distraction, and then we switch, and then we reorientate, and then we get to the primary work, and which is finished. But going down the bottom, looking at focused workflow, start to finish, we just do the primary work. And number 6, a disciplined life. You don't need to be a disciplined person to be successful. In fact, you can become successful with less discipline than you think, for one simple reason. Success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. Repeat, success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. And number 7, willpower is always on will call. The more we use our mind, the less mind-in power we have. Willpower is like a fast twitch muscle that gets tired and needs rest. It's incredibly powerful, but it has no endurance. As Catherine Vautz put it in the Prevention magazine in 2009, willpower is like gas in your car. When you resist something tempting, you use some up. The more you resist, the emptier your tank gets until you run out of gas. In fact, a measly 5 extra digits is all it takes to drain our willpower dry. Looking at the graph, we have proportional favorable decisions on the left. Then we have morning break, afternoon break, and end of the day. Looking at the percentages of our proportional favorable decisions dwindling. And chapter 8, a balanced life. To achieve an extraordinary result, you must choose what matters most and give it all the time it demands. This requires getting extremely out of balance in relation to all other work issues. with only infrequent counterbalancing to address them. When you act on your priority, you'll automatically go out of balance, giving more time to the one thing over another. Repeat, when you act on your priority, you'll automatically go out of balance, giving more time to one thing over another. And number 9, big is bad. Thinking big is essential to extraordinary results. Success requires action, and action requires thought. But here's the catch. The only actions that become springboards to succeeding big are those informed by big thinking to begin with. Make this connection, and the importance of how big you think begins to sink in. Looking at the graph, we've got think big, act big, succeed big. On the left, thinking, down the bottom, time and action. Going straight up to the big outcome, we have actions. And then we have small outcome, we have less thinking and less time effort. Success requires action, and action requires thought. The truth, the simple path to productivity. I learned that success comes down to this: being appropriate in the moments of your life. Being appropriate in the moments of your life. If you can honestly say, this is where I'm meant to be right now, doing exactly what I'm doing, then all the amazing possibilities for your life become possible. And number 10, the focusing question. Anyone who dreams of an uncommon life eventually discovers there is no choice but to seek an uncommon approach to living it. The focusing question is that uncommon approach. In a world of no instructions, it becomes a simple formula for finding exceptional answers that lead to extraordinary results. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Repeat. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And number 11, the success habit. You know about habits. They can be hard to break and hard to create, but we are unknowingly acquiring new ones all the time. When we start and continue a way of thinking or a way of acting over a long enough period, we've created a new habit. The choice we face is whether or not we want to form habits that get us what we want from life. If we do, then the focusing question is the most powerful success habit we can have. And number 12, the path to great answers. When you ask a great question, you're in a sense pursuing a great goal. And whenever you do this, you'll see the same pattern, big and specific. A big, specific question leads to a big, specific answer, which is absolutely necessary for achieving a big goal. Extraordinary results, unlocking the possibilities within you. Your big one thing is your purpose, and your small one thing is the priority you take action on to achieve it. The most productive people start with purpose and use it like a compass. They allow purpose to be the guiding force in determining the priority that drives their actions. This is the straightest path to extraordinary results. Personal productivity is the building block of all business profit. The two are inseparable. A business can't have unproductive people, yet magically still have an immensely profitable business. Great businesses are built one productive person at a time. And not surprisingly, the most productive people receive the greatest rewards from their business. And number 13, live with purpose. Purpose is the straightest path to power and the ultimate source of personal strength. Strength of conviction and strength to persevere. The prescription for extraordinary results is knowing what matters to you and taking daily doses of actions in alignment with it. Number 14, live with priority. Purpose has the power to shape our lives only in the direction proportion to the power of the priority we connect it to. Purpose without priority is powerless. By thinking through the filter of goal setting to the now, you set a future goal and then methodically drill down to what you should be doing right now. Goal setting to the now. Really easy. Someday goal. What's the one thing I want to do someday? Then break it down to a 5-year goal. Based on my secondary goal, what's the one thing I can do in the next 5 years? Breaking it down further, the 1-year goal. Based on my 5-year goal, what's the one thing I can do this year? Going down again to a monthly goal. Based on my 1-year goal, what's the one thing I can do this month? And again, weekly goal. Based on my monthly goal, what's the one thing I can do this week? Breaking it down, as you already guessed, daily goal. Based on my weekly goal, what's the one thing I can do today? And you guessed it, right now. Based on my daily goal, what's the one thing I can do right now? And number 15, live for productivity. Go to your calendar and block off all the time you need to accomplish your one thing. If it's a one-time one thing, block off the appropriate hours and days. If it's a regular thing, block off appropriate time every day so it becomes a habit. Everything else, other projects, paperwork, emails, calls, correspondence, meetings, and all the other stuff must effing wait. And looking at a time blocking calendar, really simple, Monday to Sunday, 4 weeks. You've got 5 working days up the top. You can see from 1 to 5, you put in your one thing, and then Saturday is free time, Sunday is plan time, then the 8th, 9th, 10th is your one thing. Then you've got vacation from 11, 12, 13, 14, back to the grind, 5 days working on your one thing, Saturday off, Sunday plan, then the last week of the month is you work on your one thing for 5 days, then you take a break, then you plan and repeat. Time blocking works on the premise that a calendar records appointments, but doesn't care who those appointments are with. So when you know your one thing, make an appointment with yourself to tackle it. Make an appointment with yourself to tackle your one thing. Every day, great salespeople generate leads. Great programmers program, and great artists paint. Take any profession or any position and fill in the blank. Great success shows up when time is devoted every day to becoming great. Great success shows up when time is devoted every day to becoming great. And number 16, the 3 commitments. Achieving extraordinary results through time blocking requires 3 commitments. First, you must adopt the mindset of someone seeking mastery. Adopt the mindset of someone seeking mastery. Mastery is a commitment to becoming your best. So to achieve extraordinary results, you must embrace the extraordinary effort it represents. Second, you must continually seek the very best ways of doing things. Nothing is more futile than doing your best using an approach that you can't deliver results equal to your effort. And last, you must be willing to be held accountable to doing everything you can do to achieve your one thing. Live these commitments and you give yourself a fighting chance to experience extraordinary. Number 17, the Four Thieves. Clearly, our best intentions can easily be undone. Just as there are 6 lies that will deceive and mislead you, there are 4 thieves that can hold you up and rob you of your productivity. And since there's no one standing by to protect you, it's up to you to stop these thieves in their tracks. Number 1, inability to say no. Number 2, fear of chaos. Number 3, poor health habits. And number 4, environment doesn't support your goals. And number 18, the journey. A life worth living might be measured in many ways, but the one way that stands above all others is living a life of no regrets. Put yourself together and your world falls into place. When you bring purpose to your life, know your priorities and achieve high productivity on the priority that matters most every day. Your life makes sense and the extraordinary becomes possible. And that's a wrap on one of the best books, The One Thing by Gary Keller. Look back on our channel for previous book summaries and subscribe to our channel now for future videos. Check out our website, bestbookbits.com, for the written and audio summary. Shout out to Paul Miners from paulminers.com for doing this summary. To buy the book, click the link in the video description to purchase from Amazon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a thing or two. What is your one thing? Have a great day.